Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and I'm here by myself today. Neon is elsewhere. But I wanted to talk about this article because Inside the Magic wouldn't be Inside the Magic if they didn't have a double standard and were full of shit, now would they? So we're going to talk about this article that this person put out. Star Wars fans rejoice as Lucasfilm reportedly fires controversial Disney-era executive. And it's a lot of double talking, and then the comments are glorious. So please like and subscribe. If you do, I'll give you a woohoo. And we're going to talk about this. So they never disappoint with articles, I got to tell you. This one's about the rumor about Kathleen Kennedy being gone. But they talk about how Star Wars is a damaged brand and then follow it up with, but they have all kinds of female-led stuff coming out, like it's a win. Okay, so here's what they're talking about. After Kathleen Kennedy fired began trending on Twitter this week, speculation has run rampant in the Star Wars community about the controversial studio president being sacked from Lucasfilm. But do these rumors have any validity, or just wishful thinking from certain members of a highly divided fan base? At least they didn't go down to the calling them incels and misogynists and saying it's all men. At least they respected that it's certain members and not just one gender. But look, if anybody has grounds to be fired at this point, it's Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, we've heard this rumor time and time again, many, many times. If she was fired as often as certain people said, she would have been gone a long time ago, including people that are out there running with it now. They've said it several times. Didn't get fired. This time she really deserves it, though, because now she's not only ruined Star Wars, they ruined Willow, and now they ruined Indiana Jones. I mean, you're 3 for 3 at this point. At least she's consistent. But if I can't imagine she gets to stay. I mean, this is the one time I actually would not be surprised they actually did get rid of her, because she is single-handedly running it into the ground. And I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon, because even the things they had that were doing well, like The Mandalorian, by season 3, they found a way to ruin that too. Obi-Wan Kenobi could have been really good. I really like the little girl that plays Leia. I think she's sweet, and I like her a lot. I would like to see a show with just her, young Leia, just her. I think she'd be great. But I thought it was absolute bullshit that it was an Obi-Wan show and it was about Leia and not Luke. And I think that was a Kathleen Kennedy choice, because there were scripts written before and they were all tossed for, creative differences. And then suddenly it's Leia. It makes no sense to canon. Pretend you don't remember me. Oh, come on. That was just effing stupid and mandated and dumb. And they needed Luke, not Leia. I would love a little Leia show. I think she's great, but her place wasn't in Obi-Wan. Again, Kathleen Kennedy just keeps making these decisions, and they are terrible decisions. So they go on talking about how they got Lucasfilm for $4.5 billion in 2012 and blah, blah, blah. And she's a controversial figure in Star Wars, but she was picked by George Lucas, which is true. That is true. We've mentioned it several times before. They're saying, but despite her noteworthy producing credits, Kennedy has become a touchy subject for many fans due to Disney's much debated treatment of Lucasfilm existing IP. And they're talking about the Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Willow too. The Lucasfilm president has become the target of audiences' pointed criticism, with many disgruntled fans blaming her for the destruction of legacy Star Wars characters like Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy, on top of her woke approach to both franchises. I'm not going to go into the woke thing, but you did ruin Luke. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to look at that. You also, the number one thing, even beyond Luke, I can't even wrap my head around why you didn't do this. You let people believe by the trailers that Han, Luke, and Leia were going to be together again in The Force Awakens. You got all the old school fans back. So like, oh my God, even if they passed the torch, we're still getting Han, Luke, and Leia. And then you completely fucked it up. I mean, that was Kathleen Kennedy too. Then there's the whole thing about there was never a plan. You have these 3 movies by 3 different directors, and they are all over the place. There was clearly no overarching story. There's no direction. Even the people who loved The Last Jedi and fell over themselves, for Rian Johnson, when they did Rise of Skywalker, they walked choices back. And even those people had a hissy fit and were doing everything they accused old school fans of doing, and then admitted, oh my God, I don't think there's a plan for these movies. No shit. There was never a plan for those movies. That was on Kathleen Kennedy. So no matter how much you want to blow sunshine up her ass and turn her into a Macy's balloon, she still did all this stuff, and she's responsible because the buck stops with her. She's in charge. So she made these choices, decided to let these people run amok and do what they wanted, wasn't paying attention. You're talking about The Force Awakens helped reignite interest. Yeah, but you didn't give fans what you promised. Disney's buyout Fallout film Star Wars Last Jedi tore the fandom apart, causing many to lose trust in Disney's sequel trilogy and moreover Kathleen Kennedy herself. Yeah, because you done screwed over Luke. They're talking about Kennedy has long advocated in hiring more women to create projects at Lucasfilm. I don't think people really have a problem with more female directors as long as the projects are good. However, few have yet to see the light of day. Famously, Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins, which Kathleen Kennedy, I think is why she didn't go through with it. I mean, these women's projects aren't seeing a lot of day, including a lot of people that are male their projects aren't seeing a light of day. It's creative differences with Kathleen Kennedy. Are you noticing a pattern here, author? Are you noticing a pattern? Kennedy's Force's female mentality has led fans to accuse her of pushing a political agenda instead of releasing content that stays true to George Lucas's legacy. I think she's not releasing content that stays true to the legacy. George Lucas didn't think Disney was releasing content that stayed true to the legacy. I don't think it really matters if they have tits or not. As a result, fans have long rallied for The Mandalorian and Ahsoka creator Dave Filoni to step into the role. I don't think Filoni is going to be much better. He seems to be like Brian Johnson's ass, with many continuing to call for Kennedy's replacement. However, things seem to be changing for better at the galaxy far, far away slate of upcoming releases. How? How, you ask? How is it getting better? Hot damn, I'm going to tell you. For one, Academy Award-winning documentarian Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, the activist, has been confirmed as a director of the Star Wars New Jedi Order movie. Yeah, that's an improvement. Which will see the return of Daisy Ridley's Rey. Yeah, can't wait. Leslie Headland's The Acolyte is also set to arrive on Disney+. Oh my God, just the stuff around The Acolyte has been a disaster. Featuring a mostly female cast. Are you allowed to say that? Because from my understanding, there's like trans people and all kinds of stuff in it. Are you allowed to say, whatever? I want to point out again that, Headland, who was Harvey Weinstein's secretary, and the rumors were that, Kennedy and Headland announced her show. I guess it was a show. And then when they did, they stuck it into like Vanity Fair, Variety or something. And when they did, the powers that be were not happy with that. They were talking about Dave Filoni's Mandoverse crossover movie expected to premiere in 2026 or 2027. Star Wars Return to Cinema should be just the thing to save the company's crumbling reputation. Not if they suck. What's your answer? Oh my God, everybody they don't like the new Star Wars trilogy, the Disney trilogy. So let's make a Rey movie with an activist director. That'll save the franchise. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. You're so right. They're talking about how the company's in trouble financially because Indiana Jones failed. They keep hitting these roadblocks with these shows and movies that don't fail. Willow, they spent how much money on Willow? It was only out for a few months and they already pulled those places because Disney has been doing that lately. However, it was funny. Save Willow. You need to be on the right side, Disney, and all this other stuff. And it was funny. But this one person, they're like, oh, well, it could be sent someplace else. Someone said copyright infringement. That wasn't me. That was somebody else. And they're like, it could be sent somewhere else and they can make a new show. And I was like, they're not gonna, because I guarantee it would be a continuation of what you liked. Because given the backlash point, you're a dying brand at this point. They're talking about the Indiana Jones movie had been slammed with lackluster reviews from critics. It's okay when the critics give it poor reviews. So we're talking about the Dial Destiny might be the last straw. Rumors on the internet have suggested that Kennedy's contract at Lucasfilm expiring in 2024. She may be relieved of responsibilities early. If it's going to 2024, they might let her, run the rest of her contract out. But if Indiana Jones is as bad as they say, if she doesn't get fired, there's a problem. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're a woman. If you're an incompetent woman, I don't care if you're a big name in Hollywood. If you're incompetent and you've mismanaged multiple franchises, your ass should be out. I'm sorry. That any other job, where can you go to work that you could just sit there, do what you want, completely waste money, waste time, spend years making shitty things, and then they give you a new contract and you don't get fired. I want that job. So they said that recently the Kathleen Kennedy fire trended on Twitter after a post by this Twip T. It came from Cameron Pasha, who said an inside source that Disney had told him that. I don't know about that. I do think that I didn't believe it before, but if someone told me that now, I would believe that she could be gone, because this is getting I'd be more surprised if she doesn't get gone than if she does. But at this point in time, Disney being the way it is, they apparently like losing money, I guess. Or she's got some kind of dirt on them that's it's like a, you know, blackmail type situation. I can't understand why she's still there. According to New Development, Kennedy may have been locked out of her business email and given 2 weeks paid leave so the higher-ups of Disney can figure out how to tackle Lucasfilm's declining success. Rumors suggest that Disney is breaking its infamous no-interference rule, as several insiders have reportedly seen Disney execs storming a Lucasfilm office amid whispers of Kennedy's firing. Again, I would not be surprised if this turns out to be true. I don't know, and she might still be there. I'm not the one saying the rumor, but this one would not surprise me. I think, you know, you're 3 for 3. You're 3 for 3. Oh God, she better be gone. I can't even. She better be. However, all this fuss could easily be chalked up to the routine goings on. Yeah. All these people are just coming in for no reason. Kennedy could also be taking time off their family, with other execs filling and doing her absence. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, most of these rumors have little to no credibility to them, much like the Inside the Magic and most of their writers and their articles. And currently it appears that Kennedy is still working at Lucasfilm. The company hasn't announced that she's been fired from her position, but by your own report, they said it could be weeks until you would hear something. Until then, it's just supposed internet gossip, which is true, unsupported internet gossip. True. I would argue that it is just a rumor because we don't know yet. But I think at this point in time, this rumor has a lot of validity given how badly she's damaged Lucasfilm and the brands they own. The comments, though, I love the comments. So Gary here, after mentioning that fans from either gender are sick of KK's woke, the Force's female political agenda, you, the writer, go on to say things are looking up for Lucasfilm because she just announced a bunch more woke and female-led movies of the series. I don't like the word woke. Why can't we not get back to a time where good storytelling was what the creators strive for and not political message about what the characters have between their legs or who they sleep with? I agree. I mean, when you look at the High Republic, you really see it. With upcoming projects being led by radical feminists with little to no movie or TV experience. Yes, true. What hope do we have? Bring back great escapist movies and storytelling no matter who is the main character. I agree. There's a right way and wrong way. You can still present female-led characters that were done well, like Mara Jade. Leia, fantastic character. There have been characters like Ahsoka's a great one. There have been characters throughout both canon and the legacy stuff that were fantastic female characters, or characters that happen to be diverse or different. And you could lead with that, and you can do it in such a way that's entertaining and fun, and people will love those characters. I mean, I didn't like Leia being the focus of the Obi-Wan show. However, I thought little Leia was a great character, and the actress was sweet. And I would love to see her in her own show. Or if they did one, with maybe Leia before we saw her in, A New Hope. That would be awesome too. When she's older, like what led up to that. I would watch that as long as it was about the character and the actual story and not about, oh my God, yes, Queen, Leia's kicking ass because she's a woman. Now Leia's black too for some reason. And then you have the people, here's what I don't get with these kind of arguments. The movies are bad because they're woke and female-led, but that isn't all why they are bad. Right. They are bad because they didn't do a good job at all telling the story. True. They focused on stupid storylines. The Return of the Empire, yes. Over good storylines, Thrawn and the rest. Yes, Thrawn and Heir to the Empire, and those books were amazing. They established a baddie and immediately killed him without any real building. Yes, Snoke. They tried so hard to subvert expectations to be smarter than the people watching. They were bad for many, many reasons. Complaining about them being woke and female-led is just showing your sexism. Complain about the real issues with them. Yes, because you have to hide behind that shield. Mickey Mouse needs to give Kathleen Kennedy a prostate exam with a lightsaber. Kathleen Kennedy's a woman, so that's not gonna happen because she doesn't have one. A radical males. Yeah, here we go. So you wish she was killed? You people are the worst. Did the Star Wars team make bad mistakes? Yes, but they had nothing to do with politics or feminism. No, they kind of did. Your storylines are poor, true. Mostly due to continuity and non-originality. That's also true. It can be both. But no one is trying to indoctrinate anyone. That's spelled wrong. So get over yourself. No. You can argue with me, a woman, if you want to, but that doesn't make you exactly what you're saying. That you're a misogynist, that you don't want to be. They were really leading with politics and feminism, as well as having bad stories. It's by the way, women don't have prostates. Well, you're right about that. And of course calls them an incel. So that's everything you need to know about Dawn, trying so hard to be like, I'm a non-toxic man. Go ahead and argue with me, Dawn. Show your toxicity. Here's the woman. For the sake of Star Wars returning to its well-made roots, Kathleen Kennedy must go. You ruined a franchise I grew up with since 1977. Yes, Susan. Yes. Then, to be honest, Kathleen Kennedy oversaw the sequel trilogy, which made $1 billion each film. Rogue One, which was also under her watch, made over $1 billion. Rogue One was actually good. She oversaw, here's the thing. They didn't all do that. By Rise of Skywalker, it was falling off a cliff. I mean, they definitely took a hit after Last Jedi. And Last Jedi did well the first week or two, and then it went off a cliff. I'd argue this for Rogue One and even The Force Awakens, but after that, I wouldn't argue. She oversaw Mandalorian and other plus Disney shows. Yeah, but Jon Favreau he was hired by her. Jon Favreau and Filoni ran Mandalorian. And they still ruined it. On the flip side, she approved the over-budget Indiana 5 and Solo Star Wars story. So I do feel like she did okay. Can someone do better? Depends on the someone is Dave Filoni. Ha, 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 ha. Your argument's weak, but whatever. I mean, you had a point with the Indiana and Jones and Solo, the rest of it. And Rogue One was good. She better be fired. The destruction of Star Wars and Indiana Jones was deliberate. She's a vindictive harpy who can't stand a male hero. I don't think she meant to these movies to fail, so she would have to sit there and take all the shit for it. I do think that she definitely, the Lucasfilm in general, I would say the story group initially, have gone out of their way to take the male heroes of these franchises and destroy them, or make them shitty people so that a woman can come step in and be the new hero. They have definitely done that. Every franchise is the main characters are replaced by women. So yes, that's what they're doing. And I think it's getting tiresome, but it's not just Star Wars and Lucasfilm's properties. We're seeing it in other franchises. They tried to do it with Terminator. They've tried to do it with other ones too, and it just did not work. People don't want that. If you can have a character that's a female, that's why I like Cara Dune. Whether you like Gina Carano or not, it's irrelevant. Cara Dune's character was great because she was a fantastic, strong female character that held her own against all the male characters, but wasn't because she had to put them down in some way or she had to, one up them or save them. She just was like them and wanted that she just happened to be a woman. And that's what was great because she did. Same with Leia, the same thing. She was a princess and she was a girl, but she was, she commanded respect and she could kick ass, and she did. And that's what people liked about these characters. They don't seem to understand that just taking a male character and making it a woman now doesn't work with people. It doesn't work. You have to have a reason for it. They go on and on about different stuff. You can go read the comments on here. I'm not going to read all of them. She has done nothing positive for another woman. Yeah, nothing positive for Disney. As a woman, the fact that she just keeps injecting feminism in the storyline where it wasn't needed was annoying. Yes, I agree with you, Sonia, completely. Her The Force is Female t-shirt really annoyed me. Giving gender to the Force was just too much for me. I agree. I grew up Star Wars. I used to sell Star Wars toys when I was in college. I mean, granted, it was like, the 90s, but I still was selling Star Wars toys in college. And I was doing that, and I was like the only girl. Like, I go to the movies with me and my friend, and it was mostly men, but we were never treated like, what are you doing here? I mean, there were women, like, we were the ones that were there early. If you went down the line further, people that showed up later, there was a lot of women. But to the front of the line, the ones that showed up, to stand in line, because we couldn't buy tickets ahead back then, to stand in line and wait several hours before the theater opened. We were the only girls for like a long way down the line, and nobody treated us like we shouldn't be there. And I was always there, with Star Wars, read the books, loved them, found lots of characters I liked in the books and in the movies. And, I think that this whole idea that women aren't represented and the Force has to be female is stupid. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of forced no pun intended, agenda and feminism, and it doesn't necessarily need to be there. And you could still tell a story. Rey could have been a character. She started a great character. She started out good, and then just went full on Mary Sue with her. And they could have done so much better towards Finn and Poe as well. Like, their stories were great, and I would love to see more with Finn. Like, him being an ex-stormtrooper turned Jedi would have been an amazing story, but they had to double down on this feminism idea. You could have replaced Luke with Finn. You didn't, but you coulda. There's a lot of problems here. So I just think it's funny. This article is about what you'd expect from Inside the Magic, but it worked out okay because it was a good laugh for me, and it gave me something to share with all of you. So please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.